One of the embarrassments that we have in South Carolina is a fellow that's named a general. His name is Mick Zase. He's State Superintendent of Education. I want a coach over a general any day. Do you think we ought to thank Mick Zase for trying to expand vouchers and take public money away from public schools? Do you think we ought to thank him?
No!
You're right. I tell you, a guy who's going to take care of that, who's going to fight for public education, is a guy who's taught in the classroom and a guy who's coached people on the field. I'd like you to meet a fella from Union who's a solid Democrat, fella who's in the State House of Representatives and who will be an excellent State Superintendent of Education. Please meet Mike Anthony.
Being a coach, I can't stand behind the podium very well, so I hope you don't mind that. Andy's right. It's a sad day in the state of South Carolina when we look at some things that have been going on, especially with the leadership in our education department. Believe me, for 30 years, Mike Anthony, who's running for this position, has been in that classroom a little over 30 years. Also served as a high school football coach, which in that situation you kind of get moved around. I served in 5 different communities in our state as a coach and a teacher, and it's beyond me why we can't figure out what's going on when we never asked our teachers what's going on. Nobody ever asked the teachers, folks. We want to make sure that our teachers have a seat at the table when we're trying to solve our problems, when we're trying to find the solutions in the state. We need somebody who will stand up and say, our teachers need to have a voice. I don't know how you like this or not, but I will tell you this. It just makes me angry to think that $144 million went to all 49 other states that were South Carolinas that Mick Zase said we're not gonna take. We don't want any money. And I came through some areas. When you come from the upstate of South Carolina to the low state, you can see plenty of areas where we need help, can you not? And I promise you, he refused to take this money when all he had to do was ask for a waiver. He could have simply asked for a waiver like 9 other states did, and we could have got that money, and we could have helped our teachers. This was for rehiring teachers after the recession period. Put our teachers back in the classroom. And just a month ago, he wants to potentially increase class sizes, folks, to take a regulation away that we in the legislature did, a regulation that we set in place, and he knows better than us as legislators even. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what's going on, and I want to be that person that can take that place, because I hope that I get to meet everybody here today before I leave, because I want you to see my goal is to be able to communicate with people, to work with people, to bring people to the table. The business community is begging us to give us help. All we got to have is some leadership at that position to get people to come together. I know Bakari's coming up in just a minute, and I know Vincent's going to come here. We three, I think, my strengths probably too is building teams. I think we as a Democratic Party need to put a team out there that's going to, I don't know any other way to say it, it's going to kick some tail next November. And that's what we got to do. Make sure that happens. And if we can build this team, we've got to do it in a way, and Bakari heard me say this in Spartanburg not long ago. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. The way you win, everybody, if you're playing checkers under that tree up there, everybody wants to win, don't they? Everybody wants to win. If you want to win, you got to do this. You got to take the W and win, and you got to be willing to pay the price. You ever heard your old coach say that? You heard a coach, I bet you some of you guys and ladies that had a coach say, you got to be willing to pay the price. The I part of win is you got to invest the time. You've got to invest the time, whether it be when I was coaching or whatever, the weight room or the conditioning. We as politicians and we as Democrats have got to be just like this. Spend some time together, invest ourselves in it. We got to be invested in it. And then the N in win stands for never, never, never let circumstances dictate how you act. Now think about that and swallow that a minute. Reverend, some of you folks think about that. Every time you see someone react, then they get penalized. Let's be proactive in what we got to do. Let's give them the solutions in education. Let's give them the solutions in government, and I think we can make sure we can do that. And thank you so much for letting me come. Appreciate it, Andy. Thank you.
You see why I say a coach is better than a general any day?